Mount Tianyu, the inception of the Southern Third Meridian, stands as a landmark of paradoxical beauty in ancient geography. This solitary peak, defined by a mere 14 characters in the classic of mountains and eternal silence, guards all secrets of the water. Those who wish to touch the mountain's flank must first confront this liquid rampart. Beneath the water lies a carpet of ancient, treacherous silt. The seemingly placid surface conceals hidden vortices. Even should one by fortune cross the waters, a more arduous trial awaits the explorer. Upon the 90-degree vertical cliffs, only sparse outcrops of shale offer footing. The unclimbable nature, deliberately emphasized in the classic, is proven at an altitude of 700 meters. Here, a perpetual belt of cloud and mist appears. Visibility plummets to within 5 paces. Lichen, thriving in the rock fissures, combines with the water vapor, forming a gelatinous fluid. This naturally formed biological barrier renders any climbing tool slick and treacherous to grip. Before Mount Tianyu, all ambitions to ascend must yield to a profound reverence for nature. The existence of some peaks serves only to prove that there are realms in this mortal world yet unreachable. 500 leagues eastward from Mount Tianyu, the narrative of the classic of mountains and seas takes a sharp turn, propelling the saga of the Southern Third Meridian into a more enigmatic dimension. The eastern flank of the mountain exposes a 3-league-long vein of quartz. Over ages, gold in the form of reticulated crystals has grown parasitic upon it. The western slope's fault line is dense with dark green serpentinite. Veins of translucent Xiuyan jade, like frozen glaciers, are deeply embedded in the basalt bedrock eye. And on the northern face of Mount Daoguo, the Yin River surges southward from the summit, nurturing within its waters the most bizarre life form in the classic, the Hujiao. Its cry, like that of a mandarin duck, pierces the mist. It is rumored that its flesh can cure hidden ailments. Yet none dare to face its twin amber pupils. In the depths of the marsh, nourished by the river, herds of ancient elephants measure the sacred domain with their tusks. An adult bull, using its tusks to pry apart slate, sends jade pebbles tumbling from the crevices. These are trampled by the herd into a tributary of the Yin River, becoming the embryonic form of the 100-league jade beach at the river's mouth. Among the vertical metallic veins of Mount Daoguo dwells a white-headed fowl that perplexed the ancients, the Quru. Its head is crowned with a cockscomb, and its facial contours vaguely resemble human features. A third sharp talon grips the rock strata tightly. Its 3 feet form a stable tripod. Whenever the morning mist rolls over the ridge, it emits a short, sharp cry, its tone somewhere between a mandarin duck and the sound of its own name. At the edge of the dense forest at the mountain's roams a primordial migrant with bronze-colored skin, the Qingxi. Its hide is like bronze plate armor, patinated with a clear verdigris. Its folds are filled with moss, forming a natural suit of armor with its lichen-covered raised shoulder blades. When the Qingxi returns to the forest depths, and the cry of the Quru hangs among the rock strata, Mount Daoguo returns to silence. And our gaze will continue eastward, following the records of the Southern Third Meridian. Continuing 500 leagues east from Mount Daoguo, the bronze veins are replaced by crimson rock strata. The scarlet mountain body, like solidified flame, tears the earth asunder. This is Mount Dangsu. Fresh water boils forth from the mountain's peak, carrying mineral powders from the depths as it rushes south, eventually flowing into the Great Sea. The rocks on both sides of the riverbed are stained a golden yellow, glistening with a brilliant sheen under the sunlight. In the ever-burning hot mists of Mount Dangshu dwells the most ancient totem of Chinese civilization, the phoenix with its feathers. It writes the most exquisite natural code of antiquity. The patterns on its plumage exhibit a naturally astonishing composition. They appear as if written characters. The feathers on its head are inscribed with virtue. The feathers on its wings are inscribed with righteousness. The feathers on its back are inscribed with propriety. The feathers on its breast are inscribed with benevolence. And the feathers on its abdomen are inscribed with integrity. The cry of the phoenix is not a mere sound. The unique bones of its throat resonate with the air, and the frequency of the sound waves it produces can temporarily silence the boiling springs of Mount Dangshu. The ancient saying, "When the phoenix appears, the world is at peace," refers to a natural sign of a period of geological tranquility. Continuing 500 leagues east along the Southern Third Meridian, the scorching mineral veins are replaced by a biting, watery vapor. We have arrived at Mount Fashuang. For leagues around, not a single green leaf can be seen. But this mountain, silent as death, is entwined by countless silver chains of water. The snow on its peak melts into water, rushing down along precipitous ravines, shattering against the cliffs into 1,000 waterfalls. Yet this abundant water nourishes no plants or trees. Where the mountain streams flow, even the most tenacious moss refuses to grow. The only sign of life comes from the white apes that leap among the crags. These creatures, entirely snow-white, at the height of noon, will gather on the sun-facing molten rock, cupping the mountain spring water in their palms. Their fur, under the intense sunlight, shimmers with the faint luster of mother-of-pearl. All streams ultimately converge to form the lifeblood of Mount Fashuang, the Fan River. This great river, born on the southern face of the mountain, carries with it pulverized quartz sand. The water presents a rare milky white color. As it rushes southward, ultimately flowing into the Bohai Sea, the river roars, vibrating in the mist. And the mountain range of the Southern Third Meridian now winds eastward, beyond 400 leagues of cloud and wave. See? Here lies the most mysterious boundary marker of this episode, Mount Mao. As our footsteps crush the 1,000-year-old decaying leaves at the mountain's foot, we are met not only with a damp, cold mist, but also with the eyes that lurk among the shaded cliffs. The classic of mountains and seas records that it is abundant in strange birds that fly in the night. These strange birds are of various forms, their pupils glinting with a cold light. They are not common birds that rise at dawn and rest at dusk. They always emerge from their nest at the most sinister hour of twilight. When their wings brush against the cliff face, they scrape forth sparks of an eerie blue. 300 leagues to the south, the earth here gapes open with a fearsome wound. This is the Yuyi Valley, which gives birth to the ancient south wind. Mark well those jagged ridges of rock. Every groove is an engraving of the wind. When the sun reaches its zenith, a current of air carrying the scent of saltpeter will surge from the valley floor, sweeping up gravel into the air, to form totems that change in a flash. The ancients called this wind the mother of the south wind, but the wind here never brings warmth. It moves silently, crossing the 12 peaks of Mount Mao. Wherever it passes, all plants and trees bow to the north, as if an unseen hand is repeatedly smoothing the wrinkles of the earth. Leaving Mount Mao, our torches guide us across 400 leagues of scorched earth. This is Mount Fei. This mountain rejects all life. Due to its perpetual drought, what seeps from the rock strata is not water, but a silence that has solidified over 3,000 years. The original text of the Classic of Mountains and Seas states, "Below it is abundant warning to those who would follow. These serpents of the earth are no mere snakes." The carapace of the Fuhui has the texture of brittle forged iron. Its trunk is as thick as an adult's wrist, and each segment is lined with barbs. When its mouth parts open and close, the acid it ejects can rapidly corrode rock. When they lie still, the entire hillside appears to suddenly grow new folds. Forever slithering close to the ground, this is the law of survival that Mount Fei imparts to life. Prostration or death. Leaving this land teeming with Fuhui, 500 leagues eastward on the horizon, a completely opposite law awaits us. We have arrived at Mount Yangjia. This is a paradise of water. Every fissure pours forth a deluge. With no roots to anchor the soil, the bare rock directly endures millennia of scouring by water. There are no plants or trees, not because of drought, but precisely because there is too much water. Any life that attempts to take root will, with the water level surging 30 times an hour, be torn to shreds. The rock strata here permit only two existences: stone and the water that pulverizes stone. 500 leagues to the east, a different form of life's frenzy is erupting. This is Mount Guanxiang. All conceptions of a forest will be remeasured here. The ground bears no flowers or grass, not because the land is barren. Look up at these intertwined canopies. The branches and leaves of the giant trees absorb 90% of the sunlight. Their roots form a bronze wall and iron fortress underground. Even the most tenacious weeds cannot penetrate this dark dungeon. Here, the giant trees requiring 20 men to encircle are the true rulers. Behold the death embrace of these 2,000-year-old trees. There are no rings to count the spoils of war. The decayed trunk of the vanquished will become nourishment for the victor. This is the law of Mount Guanxiang. To grow is to kill. As this leaf unwillingly falls to the ground, this land of tombs has fulfilled its death quota for the day. 500 leagues to the east, another form of wealth is congealing on the mountain ridge. We have reached Mount Ji. The Classic of Mountains and Seas says this place is abundant in gold, but those glittering veins of ore are merely the tip of the iceberg. They are born from the mountain's epileptic convulsions. When the geothermal heat tears through the rock strata, gold-bearing fluids rip through the rock layers, like magma squeezed from the Earth's crust. They have been stewed by geothermal heat for 90,000 days, finally tearing open the rock shell to crawl out of hell. This crimson expanse at the foot of the mountain was the earliest palette of our ancestors. These ochres are a mixed ore of iron-rich hematite and cinnabar. They dissolve instantly in water. With simple grinding, they can be transformed into a crimson ink that will not fade for 1,000 years. From the fish patterns on Banpo pottery jars to the palace walls of the Forbidden City, these minerals, in the most unadorned way, have branded the lifeblood of Mount Ji into the sinews of civilization. Today, we can still touch the gifts of the primeval age. Every grain of red ochre preserves the primordial color pact between the mountains and humanity, a covenant. This river, named the Black Water, has nothing to do with color. Its blackness is the reverence of the ancient peoples for unknowable forces. Now behold the monster in the water, the Tianyu. These sharp bristles are its life-preserving armor. When threatened, they can be erected instantly, forming a thorny iron net. The barbs are also coated with a paralyzing toxic mucus. The air sacs in its throat can compress air, releasing a low-frequency sound wave that sounds much like the squeal of a piglet. As this drop of water sinks to the riverbed, 400 leagues away, Mount Lingqiu is awakening. Here is the scorching boundary marker of the Southern Third Meridian. The fire of Mount Lingqiu refuses to turn to ash. These earth fires can burn in a downpour and spread in the frost. Without firewood, they sustain themselves by consuming the pyrite concretions in the rock strata. This canyon on the southern slope of Mount Lingqiu, which tears the earth's surface, is the Zhugu recorded in the classic of mountains and seas. They are like 800 bronze swords plunged upside down, slicing the northeast wind into sharp blades. Every midnight as the temperature drops, the Zhugu's rock fissures will spray high-pressure air currents, sweeping up sulfur dust to form crimson tornadoes. These winds do not come from afar. It is Mount Lingqiu itself breathing. The cooling rock strata on the summit contract and draw in air, while the residual heat of the earth fires forces the air currents back out. The entire canyon is merely the throat through which the mountain exhales and inhales. On the scorching map of Mount Lingqiu, only the Yu can interpret the law of symbiosis between life and a desolate environment. Note its head structure, which subverts all understanding. Two pairs of eyes are arranged side by side. The upper pair of pupils are long and slender as knives, specialized for tracking the trajectory of birds high in the sky. The lower pair of eyes gleam with an amber light, able to see through 10 fathoms of rock to the reflection of crystals within. This visual system makes it a hunter of both the sky and the earth simultaneously. Legend has it that when its kind appears en masse in human sight, it signifies that the entire water cycle of the earth has been completely thrown out of balance. A great drought is imminent. When the silhouette of the Yu vanishes on the horizon, Mount Lingqiu continues to burn silently in the smoke and mist, like an eternal torch thrust into the spine of the earth. Traveling 370 leagues to the northeast, the scorched earth is gradually replaced by a pale gold. Mount Lingqiu pushes another extreme from the classic of mountains and seas before our eyes. This is a mountain wilderness reconstructed by gold mines and chalcedony. Every rock on its peak gleams with the golden light in the morning sun, as if an unseen giant artisan is ceaselessly forging this mountain of ice and blade. In a world dominated by metal, the existence of the white Gao tree is nothing short of a miracle. These entirely snow-white trees are not diseased. The blood-red veins beneath their bark are the mineral essence stored for 30 years. When sap seeps from the fissures in the leaves, the entire mountain forest is filled with the scent of rust mixed with the strange fragrance of honey. Most astonishing is the chemical reaction between the sap and jade. Fresh sap can cause blood-red streaks to appear on green jade. To this day, lumberjacks maintain the habit of carrying the tree's resin. A thumb-sized piece of the resin can provide a whole day's worth of calories, creating a unique feeling of satiety. As night covers the day, Mount Lingqiu has completed one cycle of its metabolism. Under the cover of night, we proceed 580 leagues due east. The landscape gradually sheds its metallic edge. We have arrived at Mount Hujiao. The mountain is as its name suggests. Agao also means withered. The trees here are ancient, their trunks stark as iron. Vines hang from the tips of their branches like natural curtains, carving the mountainside into a secret realm of light and shadow. In the depths of the forest, some massive creature is moving stealthily. Their silhouettes are indistinct in the shadows. As their forefeet tread the rock walls, they shake loose withered leaves. Their long tails sweep through the undergrowth, making a rustling sound. The forms of these strange beasts are manifold. Some have the body of an ox, yet possess the sharp talons of an eagle. Others have a head resembling an ape, yet are covered in hard scales. Their pupils glow with a faint blue in the dim light, vigilantly scanning their surroundings. Occasionally they let out a low guttural roar. And where the stream meanders, the presence of the great serpents is even more staggering. The heads of these giant pythons are as flat as shovels. With the flick of their forked tongues, they can sense the scent from several fathoms away. When they move, their bodies undulate like waves. Wherever they pass, the grass and trees are flattened. Even the stream is stirred into concentric ripples. Some of the great serpents will coil on the steep cliff faces, appearing as a part of the rock, lying in wait for their prey to walk into their trap. Every mountain in the classic of mountains is a key to unlocking the ancient world. The strange beasts and great serpents of Mount Hujiao are merely the most vivid protagonists of this secret realm. As our lens travels 580 leagues eastward, that mountain overlooking the azure sea, Mount Tianyu, a place of fine trees that transform amidst wind and mist, appears before our eyes. This main peak of a spiritual range standing by the sea soars into the clouds. Its subsidiary peaks, like embracing cradle the sparkling azure waves. Those veins that gleam with a gentle luster are precisely the gold and jade mines mentioned in the book Quru. The traces of tens of millions of years of geological movement become the epic poetry of the earth. And in the moist lands where streams and tides intertwine, dwells the divine bird recorded in the classic of mountains and seas, the Yuanchu. They belong to the same family as the phoenix. The Yuanchu has a slender form, its azure feathers like shimmering lapis lazuli. When unfurled, one can see their delicate patterns. The birds often fly in pairs, skimming over the water. Their long song echoes through the valley. Where their feathers brush past, only flower petals float in the air, carried by the current. Perhaps it is precisely because Mount Tianyu gathers the splendor of gold, the spirit of the mountains and waters, that it could give birth to such a creature of ethereal grace. In the entire Southern Third Meridian, there are 13 mountains in total, spanning a length of 6,530 leagues. All are guarded by a mysterious mountain god. He is neither beast nor bird, born with a dragon's body and a human face. For thousands of years, the ancient peoples believed his breath was the turning of the seasons. When his scales fell, they became the gold and jade among the mountains.